Is already in here.
We are live. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Welcome to Snaggin Night Live. This is
Hey.
episode 24, and so we figured to the some more of our river series, and we'll talk about the James River tonight. We know a little bit about the river that we're going to talk. We've got some experience, not a whole lot, just a little bit. But let's give some people time to come in real quick. Right now we've got 4 folks, so we're gonna give people time to come in. But since we're live, we'll introduce our guests. Tanner, it's what's your channel name? And you fish the James, right?
I fish everywhere where there's water. I fished a mud puddle and caught 2 rockfish out of it the other day. Yeah, I'm not picky. I'm not picky. As long as it's wet, I'll fish it. But yeah, I fish the James frequently.
Awesome. What's your channel name again?
It's a life of fishing.
Life of fishing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in tonight. We really appreciate you coming in and joining us in our panel tonight.
Yeah, once we get going, maybe somebody will drop the link to a life of fishing. What does your home picture look like?
Man, it's got a trout and a cast net, or not a cast net, a catching net.
Catching it, okay.
A rainbow trout.
Nice.
Cool.
So we got 16 awesome people. So of course, everybody in our community knows the infamous Austin.
What's up? How's everybody doing tonight?
There.
Austin.
Fishing Fever's in the house. I am a Fever believer.
Fever believer. That's right.
Or is it fishing and fever?
Whatever you want to say, Sean. It's all good.
The king of the pond videos.
The pond. That one video I saw that just hit 5K.
Well, I had a short that hit 5K.
That's right.
I had a couple shorts that hit 5K, and then the short of me and Stan 3 hitting the buoy and the FOA rod going into the handle of the buoy, that got up to like 12 or 13.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the best one. So my 2 best shorts are 2 different James River anglers trying to demolish my FOA rod. Dustin knows all about the other one. So
I remember the first one.
Yeah. But no, the pond videos, I've uploaded 3 recently, and all of them are over 1K. So that's pretty big for me, you know. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I don't think we've had a video yet. A production video.
I know. We're good for 50.
I got 24.
I don't know. I know we're not here to talk about pond fishing, but I just think that the pond videos reach a broader audience. So then I'm trying to slowly do more of that with the long form videos, and then over time introducing those people into the world of like live catfishing and trying to grow the live community at the same time. So that's kind of my plan right now.
There you go. It seems to be working.
Well, there we go. Miss Rhonda dropped the Life of Fishing.
Sweet.
Nice.
No, I think it's a life of fishing, not life of fishing.
Oh, that's somebody else. Don't worry about that guy. he might know what he's talking about, but don't worry about him.
He just picked up a few subscribers.
Yeah, guy's a scrub.
Yeah.
Yep, I think it's a life, like A is in Adam, and then life of fishing.
So, some guy in Wisconsin. Some guy in Wisconsin just got like 6 new subscribers. He's like,
yeah.
What?
Like, yes.
Yeah, look for the rainbow trout with about 8 subscribers. That's me.
You got like 80 subscribers, right?
I got 81, I think.
81.
Nice.
That'll help Rhonda when she looks for it.
I talked to somebody at the trampoline park today, and they subscribed, so that gave me 81.
Nice. You got to do it.
Absolutely, and we're all here to help. So if you ever want to do anything video-wise, want to go live, whatever, just let us know. We'll work something out.
Yeah, Sean said he was going to take me fishing someday this week, and then he said, I'll call you back in a few minutes. That was like 2.5 days ago.
That sounds like fun.
Yep.
I'm sure ... had something for him to do, and he got distracted. And
He said something about the in-laws, and the phone's breaking up. I got to go, and then I'll call you back in a minute.
Yeah.
That was on Wednesday, I think.
Well,
but here we are to catch up.
Oh yeah, she goes, okay, try this again. Yes, he is at 81. The other guy was at 27. A license.
Oh, I was beating him. I told you that guy's a scrub.
There we go. All right, so real quick, let's go back and see who's all here. We got 37 awesome people here with us tonight. We got Mike Sampson, that's hollering out Snaggin Night Live. Thank you, Sampy, for coming in. Appreciate that. We got Brandon's Outdoor Adventures. We got, of course, the always awesome Fishing for Whiskers. Thank you so much, Rhonda, for coming in and helping out and everything you do in the community. We got Gray Wolf Outdoor Homestead says, hey, y'all, how you doing? Uptown Chrissy, hello to everybody. Well, thank you, Chrissy, for coming in. Appreciate it. Let's see, Gray Wolf saying hello. Wabash Nate, how you doing? Says, good evening, all. Hey, Fish on. Size Matters says, what's up, fellas?
What's up, Size Matters?
Fish on Ed Evans. Good evening, everyone. How you doing, Ed?
What's up, Ed?
What's up, Ed?
We got butterflies in sunshine. The namesake to my anchors on my boat. Let's see. We got Shad Daddy in the house. We got Miss Lisa Elliott. Thank you, Miss Lisa, for coming in. Appreciate that. We got Ty.
Ty, what's happening?
What's up, Ty?
Let's see here. All right. So I think I'm actually caught up in chat. Believe it.
Holy moly.
I know.
That was good.
It's a warm day.
You got Brian Waldo.
Oh, Miss Annette, what's going on? Well, I didn't see Brian. Oh, there's Brian. So I'm sorry, Brian. I didn't see your comments. It says, hey, y'all. I'm Hookset Tanner, he said. Central Cali.
Hookset from Central Cali. How about that?
Nationwide now,
Sweet.
Tanner.
Hot dog.
First California subscriber.
Hey, I got some guy from Mexico or something. He keeps sending me this stuff in Spanish. I don't know what he's saying. Google Chat won't even translate it, so I don't know what he's saying. Something about put them in the pan. I don't know.
Just do thumbs up, amigo. That's what I do.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, great.
Hey, Nebby's catfishing in the house. All right, so real quick, thank you everybody for coming in. We did move our time since 9 p.m. was opened up since Panfish Nation moved to Wednesday nights. No, what?
Nope, Jeff.
Huh?
I was talking to Jeff. Sorry.
Oh, okay. You had me worried there. I'm like, what did I say?
No, I was doing hand signals to the chat.
I got it. So Dot does not have her fishing license yet.
That is correct.
Maybe I see you made it back safe and sound from driving lessons, though.
We didn't make it out. The storm held us in. We never. Yeah.
Uh-oh. All right. So, FYI, you are at 88 subscribers now, Tanner.
Hot dog.
Let's get them to 100 tonight. We can get them to 100.
Let's do it.
Over here.
Man, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You were talking about my subscribers.
Yeah.
Goobertime TV or Goobertime Guide Service. What's going on, Dan?
What's up,
Dan?
We do have Stan that's going to be coming in here shortly to help us out with our chat tonight. And we got 89 subscribers now.
Oh man,
we'll
might hit
keep a check
200
on that for you, Tanner, as the night goes on. But that's what I was saying. We moved our show to 9 o'clock because the time slot opened up. It's a little earlier for us, so we don't have to stay up to midnight. Butterflies just subbed to you. So we want to do that time slot. So thank you all for joining us at 9 o'clock. I hope you all enjoy the show tonight. Tonight we are talking about the James River. It's part 5 of our river series. How far we're going to go with this? We're just going to keep going though, as long as we have somebody to talk about the river. Excuse me. And I would be amiss if I mentioned. I said, wish I could come up, but I'm passing it. He's probably tired. That's okay, Dan. We appreciate it.
He was probably on the river all day.
Yeah, he's got his guide service going, so he's a busy man, I'm sure. Dale Hayslip, how you doing?
What's up, Dale?
I'd be amiss if I didn't mention we now have channel memberships. If anybody's interested, you can be a Whisker Warrior. So we appreciate that and every support for everything that everybody's done for us over the last 2 years. We wouldn't be where we are without y'all, so we really appreciate it. So thank you again for all 3 of our members already. Big shout out to Austin Fish and Fever being our first Whisker Warrior. That's right. And then we got Miss and
what's going on, Tanner?
I had to move. I had to move. The kids are running in the room.
So so we like I said, we have Miss Nina from Nina's crew is a member, and we got Brian B. Catfishing.
That's right.
Is a member. So thank y'all very much for your memberships. We really appreciate that. Everything we get from y'all will go to help support the channel, fix our boats.
Yeah.
Because my boat now is kind of dead on land. I'd say dead in the water, but it's not in the water. So now I gotta work on fixing that. But
that's way worse. That is way worse.
What'd you do to it?
I think my trim motor went out.
Oh, is it leaking hydraulic fluid?
No.
Okay. Well,
we'll talk afterwards.
Yeah.
Tanner can fix some stuff.
Yeah, I had a 71 Mercury. I can fix just about anything on a motor.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk. Yeah, we'll definitely talk afterwards. I appreciate that. So anyway, that's why we're here tonight. Not out on the. We got 40 awesome people in here, so we're going to get this thing started. Like I said, stand 2 should be popping in here shortly, but we're going right now. If we go over 10 o'clock, we go over 10 o'clock. That's our time slot anyway. But we appreciate everybody coming in. Oh, and if anybody wants to drop anything in the chat, feel free to do so. Please keep your comments family friendly. And if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And we'll definitely put them up on screen, and we'll get as best answer we can. And if we don't have an answer for you, we'll get back to you most definitely. So
or make one up.
Yeah, or
it sounds good saying
it. What's up, Sampy?
Excuse me. So what we've talked about a number of rivers already. We've had the Tennessee River. We've had the Ohio River. We've had the Cooper River. What was the other? We did
Potomac. No,
we haven't done Potomac yet. So we had the Ohio.
Tennessee.
Did we do the Mississippi yet?
I don't think we did.
I don't think so.
Epic
Okay.
was supposed to come, but I don't think we got there.
No, we had Epic up one night.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
We had Epic on for the Mississippi. We were actually he was supposed to come because he only got to talk about the first 500 miles of the Mississippi. He didn't get to talk about the next
Right.
500. But we'll get with him. But anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and jump in head first into the James River real quick. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask us. If anybody hears any information that either A, you want us to elaborate on, or you feel is wrong information, again, please let us know.
Yes, please correct me.
As accurate information as Austin can give us. Got a bug. So anyway, to get started, I did look up some facts. I all knowing on the James River, but I did do my due diligence, and everybody wants to talk to you, Kelly. Kelly Bullock says nobody wants to talk to me. I'm not. That's not true. Rhonda said, "Can we dip our toes and not jump in? I do not swim. That's fine. If you want to sit on the dock and tickle the water with your toes, that is fine with us. We just appreciate you being here." So, James River. A couple of fun facts before we get started. James River is the longest and largest river in Virginia. The length of the river is 348 miles to the Chesapeake Bay from the headwaters. Now, if you add the Jackson River, is one of the two headwaters that feeds the James River where it starts, you can go. Yep. It extends 444 miles total. So Jackson River, it'll be 444 miles all the way out to the Chesapeake Bay. I mean, in our opinion, and I know Sean, Austin, I know I probably speak for a lot of people that fish the James River, is one of the best blue cat fisheries in the country. And I mean, there's been a lot of big blues and numbers too caught on James River. So it's a wonderful river. If you like to chase big blues and some nice flatheads. The flatheads aren't as populous as blues are, but we have all three species of catfish in the James. So you can catch a 2-pound channel cat, a 20-pound flathead, or a 75-pound blue. I'm sure there's got to be a 100-pound blue in there somewhere. I think there's people that have caught 80s downriver. But I didn't look up that fact. I didn't look up the record for the James as far as the blue goes. But at least the one I saw didn't seem right. It said 63. And I know people that have caught fish bigger than 63. So.
Oh yeah.
So
anyway.
The state record. The state record was out of the James before it was broke in Kerr Lake.
Okay.
And I thought that fish was, upper 90s or just over 100. Yeah, over 110. Yeah.
There you go. Dan's got it.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that.
Yeah, because Zach Royce broke it. I think he was 114 or something on his, wasn't he?
Somebody. Whisker Stream said, I believe the new world record will come from the James.
It's possible.
So
Tanner, they just. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
No, just saying. Gray Wolf said he just shared Tanner out on his community tab. I think he's talking about Facebook.
There you go. And blue cats are not native to the James River. They were introduced back in the 70s and 80s to a number of rivers in this area as a new recreational fishing magnet. I mean, they wanted people to come to Virginia to have something to fish for blue cats, and they have since grown in population to some people's dismay. We won't get into that too much, just because there's that's a whole nother conversation. Dan's saying the old record was 109, if I remember.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds.
The record for the 102.
Now, these records, are they like certified weights where you call in the biologists and have them certified, or are these just like unofficial? Let me check it on my scale.
Well, if it's a state record, it has to be by Department of Wildlife and Resources on a certified scale. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it has to be let back alive.
Yeah, it has to come in alive and has to be released alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they're saying it was a record, it had to be certified.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Which makes you think too, like how many of them come through and people catch them and they might catch a 90 or 100 pounder and they're like, nah, I'm not going to take the time to call the people to certify it. I'm just going to send it back,
Well,
probably.
I'll go ahead.
Probably at least a few times. I mean, because if you catch a blue cat that weighs 100 pounds, then you probably have a pretty good idea of what the record is. So there would be no point in even calling DWR You know what I mean? Like most people,
Yeah.
most people that would catch a 100-pound blue cat aren't out there just willy nilly. You know, they probably got a good idea of what the record is. So there's no point in me making a phone call, you know.
And
So it
not
probably
only
does
that,
happen.
if I catch a 100-pound catfish, I'm not gonna call it a day. We're gonna keep fishing.
Yeah.
But to that note, well, Whisker Dream said the 102 was certified and released.
Okay.
So to that note, though, if anybody wants to go check it out, Dan, Goobertime Guide Service, had a series that he did, and it's he asked the question to somebody. Hold on a second. Oh, buddy. Good night. You say bye to everybody.
See you, Landon.
Fish. He said, "Have a good evening,
Good night,
family."
Landon.
That's awesome.
He said, "Call him Chief."
Good night, Chief.
My bad.
Greg Burgess says hello from Louisiana.
Hey, Greg.
Just subscribe to the show. He's been watching for a while though.
Awesome.
Up, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that. Hey, you got some company in the tent.
That's my best.
So what I was saying was Goobertime Guide Service has a great series that he did, and he asked a question to the angler, and then he had the angler say, who else do you want to ask the next question or that question to next? And I believe, I'm not wrong, Dan, correct me, but I believe the question was, do you have a plan if you catch a monster fish? I mean, what's the plan? How are you going to keep that fish alive, get it officially weighed? Who are you going to call? Do you have a phone number? Do you have it readily available? You know, you got to have a process in place. If you catch a 10-pound blue cat, what are you going to do? So, Dan did have that series out there. So he asked 10 anglers that he asked. So I would recommend. Oh, there we go. I would recommend go checking out Dan's channel and go find that series. I found it interesting because the funniest thing that I found was I think the majority of the people said that's a good question. I don't know. So,
I mean, that's what I would say. Like,
Yeah.
let's just weigh it and toss it back.
I don't. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the phone number off the top of my head, but hopefully I got enough phone service where I can look it up.
It would probably go down like this. I'm like, wait a second, let me text Dan. Dan will know the person I need to call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a couple fellas in Texas caught one with their hands, and they said they had to stop every 15, 20 minutes to put it back in the water and revive it. So,
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. You have to figure out how to get it back to the shore alive so that they can weigh it. You know, so there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, that's not why we're here tonight, but
There's something to think about, though.
it's absolutely something to think about. So real quick, well, why don't we go ahead and get into it? Austin talked about the section of the James that he fishes the most, and we call that the upper James. So you want to get into that a little?
Sure. Well, the upper James, right? You've got all three types of catfish that we have here predominantly in the United States. But on the upper James, the blue cats and flatheads and channel cats are more evenly distributed. There's more flatheads per capita on the upper James than there are on the lower James. So that's a pro to me, but there's a con. The con is that you're not going to find the 80 or 90-pound blue cat up there. I think the biggest blue cat that I've seen come out of the upper James was pushing 40. And I think there's been bigger ones, but for the most part, that's going to be a mammoth fish that comes out of the upper James. So, but you have a better chance of catching the flatheads. So, you know, and I grew up fishing that stretch, so I enjoy it. But basically, I guess to kind of keep it relative to what we're talking about, if you're looking at a map and you start at like there's a little town called Columbia, all right, that's on the Upper James, so we'll start there and move our way down, I guess. But from Columbia to Maidens, and if you look at a map, you'd see them because both places have boat ramps, so you just follow the boat ramps. But between those two locations, you're talking some really shallow water. In the heat of the summer, you're probably going to want, for most of it, you're going to want a jet boat or kayak, canoe, or something like that. There is a way to traverse it, but it's pretty difficult on a traditional prop motor. But there's some really good fishing. There's really good smallmouth fishing up that way too, if you ever want to get into that. And you can keep 5 of those a day, and that's what I want to do. That I want to catch 5 of those and use them as live bait for flatheads, because I know the flatheads are eating a lot of those smallmouth. So I think it would make pretty good bait. But yep.
That's a monster for the Upper James.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, and just to add to, you still going, Austin?
Well, whatever. Yeah, go ahead. You know about it too.
Well, no, I'm just going to add to it also that, like, if you're going to put a boat in up on the Upper James, and I think when we're talking about the Upper James, we're talking about everything like above the dam, above the Bossier Dam, which is on the west side of the city of Richmond.
Yeah.
A regular gas motor, like you said, without the shallow water motors or whatever. There's maybe an 8-mile stretch that you could actually get a boat in. That, I don't know, the water's anywhere between 2 or 3 feet deep. I don't know what it is down at the dam, 16 or 18 feet deep at most when the water's up, I guess.
Yeah. Especially in the summertime.
Yeah, so there's
if you
not
do
a
it in
whole
the
lot
in late fall, winter, and early in spring, you've got more water that you can cover. It stays a little bit deeper.
Yep. And obviously, the further you get down towards the dam, the deeper the water gets. The 288 bridge, I think it's probably about 8 feet deep there. It's starting to get deeper as you get down that direction, closer to the dam or whatever. But yeah, for boat purposes, putting a boat in, you really only got that, I don't know, 8 or 9 mile stretch to put a regular boat in the Upper James. Yeah, unless you've got some other ideas, Austin, Tanner.
Yeah, I mean, like upriver from Maidens, you got to be really careful. But a jet boat, a kayak, a canoe, you can do it. But with a regular prop, you're gonna want like a skid plate in order to protect that lower unit of yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
But between, let's see, where are you at, Dustin?
There's Maidens
on the map. That's Maidens.
Yeah, and that's Tucker Park. 522.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from what we've been talking about has been from between that and then to the left, which would be upriver. You go around that bend. Honestly, you could stop right there, Dustin.
All right.
Go back towards go back towards Maidens just a smidge. Yeah, right in. Yep, that's fine. This right there where it says James River and it shows some darker water, some deeper water right there. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's deeper water right there, but just because of the color, but I know from going through there, there's a few deep holes, and they've produced some quality fish for me in the past. So but my point is like, even though in general you're only talking about a few feet of water, there can be some random spots and around some bends that you'll find some deep holes, and they can really produce.
So Ty was asking the question, the Upper James is shallow and fast current, correct?
It's shallow, and it's I guess fast is kind of relative, but it's constant current. It's not tidal. So there's no tide above the fall line in Richmond. So if the river's up, I mean, if it's rained, west of where we are, therefore you get all that runoff and river floods. Yeah, you're going to get some fast current, but
it can be dangerous too. Like, I mean, now, like, I peeked at it yesterday. I would say it's probably running at maybe a mile an hour, if that, half a mile, or I don't know. Kind of slow in the summer times, but if you look at it and it's muddy and it's like moving, like it's dangerous on that section if there's been large rainfalls,
Oh yeah. And it's the upper James River is a much skinnier river than down on the lower James, beneath Richmond and all that, or well, even beneath, like, and we'll get to that, but like beneath 895 and all that. But anyways, so you get all that runoff, you get all those trees that fall in the river, blah, blah, blah. And there's not a lot of room for those trees. So you're pretty much sitting right where you shouldn't be. If you can see trees floating down the river, they're pretty much all over the river. The river's so skinny, it's hard to dodge them.
Yeah.
If it's at that point.
Fishing the lower James for most of the time on the James River, and then going up to fish the upper James, it's a whole nother river. I'm not used to the one-way current.
Yeah.
Used to dealing with, I got spots here when the current's coming in, and I've got spots here when the tide's going out. So it's a bit different.
Yep.
There's no big boats. There's the traffic's a little different. You got people on kayaks, you got people swimming, you got the row team out there. It's a different atmosphere.
It is.
I will say too, the very first time that I went on the Upper James with Sean, I still remember getting on the boat and we were launching from Watkins, and I looking down and being able to see the bottom of it. That was
it's clear.
Yeah.
Is that the one I was on?
Yes.
Yeah, it was good times. I haven't been back since. I haven't been invited. I don't know what I said.
It's definitely it's a beautiful stretch of river.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's very calming, I guess, peaceful.
So you Austin, you typically put in and fish Watkins Landing, right?
Yeah, nowadays. I bank fish at Maidens every once in a while, but nowadays, yes, I put the boat in at Watkins if I'm fishing the upper.
Okay, and so for those folks that are wondering, that's where Watkins Landing is. It's kind of off the beaten path, out in the woods. And I've been there once with Austin, and I've been there once with Sean. So that's my experience fishing the Upper James.
That's a public boat landing. There's 2 different lanes to use on that boat ramp. That's a nice facility, nice parking lot, plenty of parking. It's a safe area. You'll feel safe there. I was actually pulling up there one night. I think Ryan and I were out there fishing, and a guy on the dock said, "Hey, I just caught a 50-pound blue off the dock last night." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." And anyways, he pulls his phone out and shows a picture of him standing on the dock holding the 50-pounder. Of course, we all know what a 50-pounder looks like. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they're in there, but they're not as plentiful as they are.
Yeah, it's pretty rare.
Yeah, yeah.
Tanner, I do apologize for covering up your face when I highlight these comments.
That's fine. That's fine. I got a face for radio anyway, so I'm good.
So Tanner, we'll ask you this: do you fish the Upper James much?
You know, you were talking about the upper James. You're talking about the Jackson River, and I used to go up there, and I guess I still do from time to time. But I've done a lot of trout fishing up there. I think that picture on my screen is actually from the Jackson River. But as far as fishing that upper section where you guys are talking about, I've fished up there and caught a few smallmouth here and there, but I've never really, except for when I go with Sean and catch some catfish, I've never really had a whole lot of success up there. I'm not that good of a smallmouth fisherman anyway, so I have got stranded out on some rocks up in that area and had to be rescued by the fire department. Does that count?
Well, you were fishing when you were stranded, right?
You know, you were talking about the water being fast and shallow. I can tell you right now, it gets fast in the springtime, and when you're floating down it without a boat and just a life preserver, it can get a little rough.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
what
when
type
I
of
was
anchors do you need in the Upper James for normal conditions?
Say it again.
I use between 4 and 6, and 6 is probably pushing it, but I usually upsize my sinkers because when I cast out that, I really want it to stay where I put it. But when I was a teenager and fishing the Upper James constantly, you know, I would use whatever I could, and 2 ounce and 3 ounce would work fine.
What about you, Sean? What size of sinkers do you use when you're up in the Upper James?
Yeah, I've got the 6s and the 4s that I mainly use. And I think if I've got the 6s on there, I'll use them. But the 4s will do fine. And I've gotten to where I've done a little dragging on that section of the river, and I'll drag into the current with the dragging weights. And I use the 2 ounces doesn't hold the weight down, but the 4 ounce dragging weights from Brad Caudell usually will keep the bait on the bottom. So yeah, 4 ounces is plenty. And like Austin said, if you're anchored, 2 ounces is probably good in the summertime. So
Yeah.
Gars are terrible up there. They will mess with your bait.
Lots of gars.
Yeah.
Just real quick, Tanner, you are up to 96 subscribers now.
Man, I'm telling you what.
Heck yeah.
Big time.
Now, look, I'll tell you this. I tried to get Sean to fish here last time, but he gets a little nervous in his boat. I'm not quite as worried about mine. Well, I am about my newer one because that costs a little more money. But my older one, I could have cared less. But if you go up there and there's a big warning buoy and it says danger, the dam's ahead, don't go any further. If you just go on past that and you cast a little further down, I've caught some big catfish down there by that dam. But you got to go past that little buoy and cast it down.
Yeah.
And I can't get Sean to go down there because he gets nervous. But that's okay.
I can't scratch that boat up.
Yeah, Ron, I'm still trying to keep an eye on the chat while everybody's talking. But Whisker Dream said, I tried fishing above the dam in an 18 Starcraft, but ended up hitting gravel bars, loaded it up.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you got to be careful up here.
Yeah, also all those down. Tanner had a good idea for all those down trees. We're always dodging those trees up there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, you know, I guess any of y'all guys hunt or whatever, you take those little thumbtacks that are reflective, and I was thinking as we go down the river, we'll just stick those on the tree branches that are sticking up out of the water, and that way when we shine a flashlight on them, we can see them from a mile away.
There you go.
Yep.
Because you're always like, I know that one's coming up. I know it's coming up.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell at nighttime, though.
So I bought some thumbtacks back in the spring because I said Sean's going to call me and invite me to go fishing any day now. So I've still got like 200 thumbtacks.
Ty said, do you still use the 10-aught hooks in the Upper James?
Yeah. But not not necessarily exclusively, because I'm always trying out different hooks. But yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many like 2 or 3 pound blue cats that I've caught on 10 out hooks. So I don't know if really downsizing. I don't know if I'm really behind the idea of downsizing my hooks.
Real quick on that note, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish.
Well, I'm just saying, like, as long as I know, if I know that I'm in waters that carry double-digit fish, then I'm going to try to be prepared to catch those double-digit fish, or even triple-digit fish. But that's why, like, when you see us fish different tournaments and whatnot, and it's a numbers tournament or whatever, I almost always still have at least one rod that is rigged up to catch whatever monster is under the boat,
Right.
And that's kind of how I go about it. But
there's my dragon weights, Brad Cottle.
We got Brad Cottle on the tidal weight sinkers, and we also have Fish Shizzle. Brandon, how you doing? Thank y'all for coming in.
I can see Brandon. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, Fish
Anybody
Shizzle?
has any other questions, please feel free to put them in chat, and I'm trying to star them as we go. And going back to a question or comment we made earlier about what would you do with the big fish? LG said if big fish, we would have to at nighttime we would have to let it go. We'd have no way of keeping it alive there on the dock.
Yep, no, I agree.
Yeah.
You could always. Now I don't know if this would be controversial or not, but you could put it on a stringer. Like, and I'm not saying like a Walmart stringer, but like you could tie a rope onto it and it would probably be okay. As long as you did it the right way. I don't know, but because I've thought about that, I've thought about that a lot because I don't have a live well that I could keep a world record fish in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think many people have a live well like that.
I mean, I think I'd just have to put it on a rope. If I thought it was a world record catfish, I think I might put a rope on them and, just try to do it in a humane way and not hurt the fish. But
right.
I mean, I don't know what else I would do. I don't,
Yeah.
Yep. I hear you.
Just real quick, if anybody wants some good dragon weights, man, this title weights from Brad Cottle. I don't think I've ever gotten one snagged. They're great. I like the 4 ounce ones.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so back to the James River. So, like I said, we usually fish. Or I say we. I've been on there twice now, and both times we've gone downriver from Watkins Landing. You guys were talking about the 288 bridge.
Yep.
Earlier, and there's that. That's one of the main highways for those of you that are not familiar with Virginia. That's one of the main. I'll say cut throughs. It connects 95 to 64.
It's like a 295 around a big city.
Yep.
Yeah, it just takes you down to the 64 farther south of or west of the city. So
Yep, south and west. Yeah.
That's a really good spot to fish too.
yeah,
I know somebody caught a 30 pounder underneath the bridge.
I did catch a 30 pounder right there, right underneath of it. This not too long ago.
Nice.
Yep.
And then we were talking about. I know the very first time that I went out with Tanner and Sean, we were fishing Jodi's flathead tournament, not her flathead challenge, but her flathead tournament, and put in there at Watkins Landing, right there, and we went all the way down past 288, down to what's called Bosher Dam.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long ride.
Low Head Dam. So it's right there. And we caught our very first flathead of the tournament right there. Right from the creek that comes right there it is.
Yeah, where that creek is. Yep.
Yep, that's where. Well, I
still
say
close
the
to
very first flathead, our only flathead.
That's
We
a
should
good
have stayed
spot.
there.
Yeah,
Now, can-
we should have put the Ed Evans and stayed there all night.
Can you see the little warning markers if you zoom in? Are you able to see those?
How far back are they? They're
They're pretty close to the dam.
Yeah, they're like 150 yards maybe.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think-
long in there.
Yeah, I don't see any. But if you go down that way and you look for the log jams, basically where they've jammed up against the dam, that's where
Right
I've
here?
always had luck casting. Yeah, places like that. And the catfish will sit up under those log jams, but you can see how close you got to get.
Yeah.
Hey,
Not
we
me,
got
buddy.
cats fishing in the house. What's going on?
It's not something you want to do when you just gotta, when you don't have a solid anchor. you want to make sure that the trolling motor is working good and you're anchored, not just one or the other.
I don't trust spot locks.
Yeah,
Not
you'll be
in-
floating.
Unfortunately, we had some two young ladies meet their demise. They were tubing down this area and they went over that dam.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
I never
dangerous.
came-
There's lots of turbulence on the underside of that.
So
Ooh,
I'm
really?
saying that one of the things that I want to do, because I've heard a lot about it, is to fish Jody's Flathead Challenge from these islands all the way. Whoa, hello. I think it's all the way down to these islands. I hear there's a lot of flatheads in this area,
Yep.
but you can only get in a flat bottom boat or a kayak or a canoe.
Yeah. Well, if you can actually go around the dam on land, like if you have a kayak.
On the fish ladder side.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah,
fish
I know
ladder
a
too.
couple people that have done that. And then you go even further down to like the Z Dam. And a lot of good flatheads caught that way.
The Huguenot Bridge.
Yeah, there's Williams Island.
There's the
That's
Z
what it
Dam.
was.
Yep.
Yep, there's the Z Dam.
That's another drop off.
So you talking about fishing between those two spots?
Yep.
Yeah, there's somebody. I've read a lot of articles that say that there's a lot of flatheads in some holes up in those rocks, and they all kind of congregate together.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
but
got
no
the perfect
good way
boat
to
for
get
that.
there.
Right. Unless you have a kayak, a small flat bottom, or a canoe.
I got
I
a small
think-
flat bottom boat. A buddy of mine let me borrow.
Yeah, it's sitting over there. It's got my name on it too.
It's still sitting in my yard.
Somebody else looked like they were about to pop into chat and then popped right back out.
Who did?
Stan's supposed to be here shortly, so. So this is a section of the James that I'm, again, not familiar with as far as fishing, because I don't think any of us have ever fished below Gosher Dam up to all the way up to the falls and in the city. So
Yeah, I've fished the bank, but never in a boat.
gotcha.
We could get that John boat over that dam, but I don't know how we get back up.
You'd have to have somebody meet you downriver in a vehicle. You have to haul it back up to.
Yeah, that'd be a heck of a float trip too.
Yeah. But when I was when we were further upriver, when I was a teenager, I would put in, and when I say put in, like I would drive my little truck to Cartersville, which is upriver from Maidens, and I would have a fishing rod, and that's all I would bring. I would bring enough, just one rigged up fishing rod and a couple pieces of bait, and I would, when in the summertime, it's only a couple feet deep, and I wouldn't even have a tube or nothing. I would just swim downriver and fish in different spots, and like no boat, no nothing, just
Yeah.
But that I was pretty much a kid when I was doing that, but that was a lot of fun.
I do something similar to that on the other side of the dam at Appomattox, on the other side of Lake Chestnut.
Yeah,
Yeah, because this time of year, you can't beat it. Nice cool
Yeah.
water coming out from under that dam.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So tidal waits. Brad said, Dustin, we have some water like here. That way, Indy has some prime fishing there.
Sweet.
Right. I thought Dustin was going to fish Jody's while tubing below the dam. Yeah, no. No, thank you.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but I will not be doing it.
You ought to come out. You ought to come out to. Well, I'm changing the subject. I'm getting off topic, but like we would go to Kerr Lake, and I would swim out with a pool noodle, and just with my arms over a pool noodle, and just slay crappie out there on nothing but a pool noodle. And that, you talk about a lot of fun.
Wow. Whisker Dream said he's never fished it either, as far as this area. But another fun fact. Hey, real-time catfishing's in the house. What's going on, John Parker? Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Mr. Parker.
Just for anybody that's interested, the James River does have some rapids. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, it's the only rivers in the country that offers all 5 levels of rapids. Somebody told me there were 6 once, but I've only ever heard of 5.
I think you're right about, yeah, I think it's 5.
Yeah, but it offers all 5 levels of rapids on the James River. So, little fun there.
It's a
That's
unique body of water.
That's where I got my kayak wrapped around a rock and had to swim down through them, and then I got stranded and had to get the fire department to save me.
Oh, wow.
It was on the news and everything. It was great.
Another fun fact. Go ahead.
The news, the fire department was actually training, and so the news were with them, filming them train. So then when they came and rescued me, they just had the whole crew. Saw me jump in the boat.
Robin C said, Austin, when I come that way again, would love to fish while swimming. A must do.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
Hey, we got Chris from Hooks and Hammocks in the house. What's going on, Chris? Rex Wright, how
What's
you
up,
doing?
Chris?
Wow, we're already an hour in. We haven't even made it to the middle part of the James yet.
I know it. I knew that would happen too.
Me too. I hope we have 38 awesome people in here. I hope everybody's having a good time. Everybody's learning a few things about the mighty James River, the river that we love to fish. Another fun I looked up, of course, the James River is also the largest roosting area on the eastern seaboard for bald eagles.
I believe it.
Yeah, I believe that.
We see them all the time.
So there's a lot of guide services, and Dan does the same thing. He will offer sightseeing guides to go out and see bald eagles.
Yep.
So I know further down, further out west, I know my dad and I were out one time near Herring Creek, and I might, if we get to that, we're going to go over 10 o'clock. So we appreciate everybody sticking around. But we were out by Herring Creek, and I think I counted maybe 8 to 10 bald eagles flying above.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
That is cool.
But yeah, so here's where the rapids are. This is Poet Parkway, and then you go down. As you can see, there's a lot of rocks there. So that's, of course, it's fairly shallow. And I need to look it up. I know it was on the James. I just can't remember. but the baseball stadium, the Diamond, where it's in the city now, the baseball stadium used to be on an island in the river.
Huh.
I just don't remember which island it's on or it was on, but it was on an island in the James River.
Huh. I didn't know that. I would
See,
assume it would be. I would have assumed it'd be down there by the canal on Mayo Island or whatever.
It very
You'd
well
need a
could.
pretty. You would need a pretty decent sized island.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is that patch of land right there? That's too swampy though. It wouldn't hold a baseball stadium.
That's
No.
Bell Island.
Yeah,
Oh, is that what that is?
Yep.
No, I know it won't on Bell Island.
No.
But that little green dot there, that marks that rock I was stranded on. That's the one.
We'll call that Tanner Rock from moving forward.
Yeah.
Rename that.
That's about where it was. It was the last rock before this waterfall, and I grabbed it and laid there until the fire department came.
Wow.
I'd tell you something cool is talking about islands on the James. If you go on the Library of Congress's website and you look up Civil War maps of the counties that border the James River, there's a lot of islands that were there at the time that are no longer there.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And a lot of it was farmers would or plantation owners or whatever they'd make their own dams and basically claim a small island, and then they would dam up the water. It would make a bigger island, but then a lot of that has gone away. But it's amazing how much the river has changed just in that, relatively short amount of time.
All right. So while you guys were talking, I actually looked up the baseball stadium, and it was on Mayo Island.
Ooh, I was right.
Right there.
I figured it had to be because that island right there, that's all bedrock. I mean, there's vegetation on it, but it's a very sturdy island, and it's big enough to hold a baseball field.
Matter of fact,
That makes sense.
If I can get this,
I wish it was still there. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
yeah, I can't. I changed my screens over and share it out again, but there's a picture of what the baseball stadium looked like. Oh, look at here.
Boom,
Hey,
boom.
what's up, Stan?
What's up, everybody?
Boom, boom,
Same
bam.
old, same old.
Well, Stan, if you haven't been listening, our show has been going on for about an hour now, and we've made it to the city.
I just saw that. I just saw that. And yeah, it is basically trying to get my chat up.
Okay, I was going to say your camera's frozen.
There we go. I was trying to get my chat up on there. That whole new thing where it goes with YouTube now. Butterflies, what's up? What's up? How's it going? Uncle Lou's out there. LG, what's up? Rhonda.
What's up, Doc?
Title rates. Anyways. Yeah, so look at there. That's where all the fun starts.
So I don't know if you
Yep.
caught this part where we were just talking about Stan. You know that prior to 1926, there was a baseball diamond on Mayo Island.
Yes, there was a bunch of it's amazing how much things have changed over the years. But I had heard, and that used to be a big. Right down from there is where they used to do a lot of. It's actually one of the reasons why the S word fish was wiped out almost out of existence here. They were one of the main exporters of that fish and others right here in Richmond. So it was
Yep.
a lot of things happen to the river because of this area right there.
I wonder if Chris is a historian. He said a ballpark on 13-acre Mayo Island in the James River was where professional baseball was played from 1921 to 1941.
Well, there you go.
There you
That's
go.
pretty cool.
Brian Waldo, can't forget Robin C. Greg Burgess, so many good people out there. Brad
yeah.
from Tideways. But yes, but upriver, just to kind of throw my 2 cents in, I haven't really fished it a lot. I did it a couple times now. I was out there with Dan, and it's just a totally different river. It's like night and day. You know, up there, but I mean, it's still, you're still looking for similarities. Like we didn't really find fish. We ended up catching a few flatheads and a blue, but we didn't really find fish up there until we found current. Once we found the current with the right structure, that's when we put it together up there. So, you know, it's pretty much like the rest of the river and a lot of other rivers when you're fishing for, you know, catfish, they like the current.
Your restraint from not saying the S word.
Thank you. Appreciate that, LG. After all, I am Captain S word for those that saw John Parker's newest Facebook post.
So Chris said he said Google will do it for you every time.
Yep.
So
What's up,
we're
folks?
getting to your section of the river. You're in Stan 3's kind of home away from home.
Exactly. I'd say probably, you know, without sounding too biased or too but that's not the right word. But anyways, I'd say probably nobody has caught more big fish in that section of the river than Stan 3.
I'll have to agree with that.
I'd say easily, without a doubt. It's not known for the biggest, you know, it's known for having some nice fish, but it's not known to catch a lot of 60-pounders up there. And he's had nights where he's caught multiple 60s, everywhere from up by the rapids all the way down. So, and I think one of the most important things, you know, a lot of times with cat fishermen, even bass fishermen in general, you hear spots, you hear people talk about spots. And I think the most important thing is to look for trends, look for what's happening. Are they biting shallow? You know, that's why, Dustin, you know, that we start out a lot. We'll have rods shallow, we'll have rods out in the channel, and have rods kind of right in between. And you kind of, you know, you look for those spots that have the deep channel, that have the ledges, that's close to some mud flats. And you find those, that's what you want to look for. And if, you know, if they're biting up shallow on mud flats, well, then you go all the way down that stretch of river and you look for the shallow mud flats, and that's what you fish. If they're, you know, biting right off the channel, right on the edge of the channel, well, you go down and you just kind of keep yourself along that ledge. So more than spots, I mean, you know, everybody's going to have their spots, but I think that's the biggest thing that people do is tend to fish spots more than fish trends or fish what's happening that day.
And to a lot of people think the bigger fish come from bigger waters. But this stretch of river in this picture right here, if you see the map, that's where my PB came from.
Yep.
My 55 pounder from that area, in that general area right there, in about 12 foot of water.
Yep. So, and not many people they'll go up there and fish for stripers, and they'll fish for things like that. But a lot of people don't know about fishing for catfish there. And,
yeah, I've caught a lot of stripers up under that bridge.
Yep. And people will go for stripers, but very seldom do you see people. You'll see people that are forced. You know, if you're fishing from the bank, you'll see people fishing for catfish from the 14th Street Bridge, because you can fish from the bridge up there. But yeah, there's some nice spots through there.
Yep, that's the
And
14th
especially if
Street.
the water's not moving, you need to go where the water's got some current moving. And we did our first live. We did our first live from, let's see, right over there by the 14th Street Takeout. That's where we did our very first live, right up by the railroad bridge. There you go. Then we did our very first live there. And I think we got a couple of 20 pounders and whatnot out of there. So you can kind of see where that channel, you can kind of see where there's the island in the middle. Yep, and there's the channel right through there. So between from that point there down to the railroad bridge, and it's not very deep, but there's usually some water moving right through there. So that's usually a good spot. But that's one of the key things is you're looking for water movement.
Robin's asking why when she was here we didn't fish there. Well, I don't remember exactly, but for me to fish in my boat up in this section of the river, the water's got to be up because there's a lot of big boulders up there. I've actually run over one of them with the boat before.
Yeah, and the water was actually up when that happened. The water wasn't all the way down. It wasn't even low tide. It was like mid tide, I believe, if I remember right.
Yep.
And you know that just like Dustin's saying, it's what you to be productive at this section of the river up here. This is basically just down from the fall line. So this is where the tidal section of the James River starts.
Right.
So this is where the tidal section starts. So you've got all the water is constantly constantly flowing downstream right there. So the upper part right there, that's always going to pretty much have a current going out. So your incoming and outgoing tides, pretty much what it does is raise and lower the water levels. Your outgoing tide will pick the current up some because it's going back out. So it's pulling water down. So it'll pull it down a little quicker. But because there's always water coming downstream up there, the tides don't affect your boat swinging all the way around as much as it does as you move further down. And it becomes a full tidal where every 6 hours, your boat's going the other direction.
Yeah.
Hooks and Hammers wants to know what creek this is we keep showing everybody.
That section, and you know, honestly, that section there pretty much it does pretty much look like that. And there was another fact there that Richmond, Virginia, is one of the only. I don't know if you brought that up or not with the with a Category 5 rapids in city limits.
Yep.
It's right up from there.
And there's actually a place over here called Hollywood Cemetery.
Yep.
I think that's right in. Yep. That's Riverview Cemetery.
Yep.
Yeah. There's Hollywood Cemetery up in here, and you can go out and look over the railing, and you can see the rapids down there.
Isn't that the name of the Class 5 rapids, Hollywood Rapids or something?
I honestly don't know that.
I feel like that's the name of it.
It could be. It makes sense.
I've heard that. Yeah. I don't know if it's just a nickname or what, but I've heard that too.
Huh. Yeah, that's the first time I'm hearing.
But so where we're starting right there, that's where you're like I said, the tide's coming in and out. So every 6 hours, you know, that water is dropping depending on if it's a minor or major tide. And then sometimes even when you have the moon phases and things like that, you have the super tide. So, you know, you could be talking about, and Robin, anybody that's come and experienced it for the first time, they're like, wow, that's crazy. But in a matter of 6 hours, you're talking as much of having like a 4 foot or more drop from where the water was. So if you're fishing, 10 feet of water at high tide and it drops 4 foot and now you're down to, 6 to 4 feet of water, that's a huge difference. It doesn't make as much of a difference if you're fishing in the, 70-foot holes. 4 foot isn't really going to make that much of a difference. But when you're fishing, you know, anything less than 10. And as we get further down, you'll see where it's even more important because it becomes a real safety factor. If you don't know the river, you got to be really careful. And, you know, in this section here, it makes it look like that it's just a teeny tiny, I mean, but you're not casting across the river there.
Oh yeah, there's some perspective. There's a barge loading a conveyor belt or whatever. So that's a pretty big boat right there that's getting loaded.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's still the smaller section of the James River, but that's it's still pretty good distance across.
Yeah.
But you can see here, just by the picture, you can see the channel going pretty much down the middle, and you can see where, you know, you'll have little indentations and whatnot. But for most part, you can see where there's a lot of shallower flats towards the bank, like especially right there to the left. Yeah, look at that. That's all, you know, that's all shallow mud flats.
Yeah, that's real shallow right in there. That little edge there is where I used to troll, well, I still do, and catch white perch in the springtime. They'll sit up on that edge, and you catch them pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Now look, here's a little fact here. If you go scroll out a little bit, this is a crazy fact. I bet none of y'all know this. Where's the where the Annabelle Lee used to be?
That's up. It's up
here,
right past, right down from the lock, right where the lock used to be. Yep.
If you go down, there's a rail yard somewhere. If you keep going down, there's a rail yard. No, the other way. See a rail yard somewhere? Yeah, that's it right there, Robert. Yeah, right in that area. So there used to be a little trailer there right on the river, and it was just a double wide trailer, and there was a kitchen in there, and they had a great breakfast. But John Madden ate in that trailer one time. How about that?
Oh, look at that.
Didn't even have a name. It was some people called it the Silver Bullet, but old John Madden came in there and ate. They used to have a picture of it on the wall.
You have eggs and you have sausage. You need eggs and sausage to have a breakfast. So if you have eggs and sausage, you're going to have breakfast.
Right.
Speaking of sausage, we'll get to sausage a little bit more later on down the show. The food. So
that was a little, for those that don't remember, that was a little John Madden there. He's famous for like the team that's going to win is the team that scores the most points. Well, thanks, John. We appreciate that.
Yep.
Hey Tanner, just to update, you are at 99 subs.
Oh man,
we're gonna get you to 100, brother.
I'm eagerly anticipating 100.
All right, so St. Caro's Landing. If anybody watches us fish, they'll see that's where we usually launch from. So this section of river is what Stan was talking about, where, you know, I mean, this is where we predominantly like to fish now. So what is unique about this section of river, Stan?
Well, another thing that we have up there is there's a lot of wing dams. And you'll hear a lot of people talk about fishing wing dams. So there is a bunch of wing dams up there. And you know, basically wing dams are they were put there to redirect the current back out into the channel. But you know, so obviously, when the tide's coming in and out, the water will be flowing different directions over there. But so those are always great places, not only for catfish, but bait, and like Tanner was saying before, white perch. You get a lot of white perch up around there.
Just be careful.
Yeah, they like to sit on the back side of them.
Just be careful if anybody comes in here trying to throw their cast net. There is a tree or something that sits Right around
Yeah,
this
that was
general
never
area.
there before. That tree was not there before. So
All right. Good night, Chris. Thanks for coming in.
All right, Chris.
Brian Waldo,
Crappie
ditch
Day
pickle.
Fish On- Crappie Day Fish On said Austin called it 100 subs by the end of the show.
Yep, I knew it would happen.
Hey, Sean called it like 2 weeks ago. He said if I come on the show, I'll get 100 subs. So, but that was when I was only at 40. So he, you know.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations.
Yep.
Oh, Hammocks Chris said he was 101.
Nice.
There you go.
All right, so and Stan was talking about wing dikes or wing dams or whatever you call them. There's a couple up here on this side, and then when you go farther down, they switch to the other side of the river. See, there's another one right there, just to redirect the flow back into the middle part of the river.
And you can see how that works. You can see where the channel. But that's what makes that section of river, to me, so special. That's why that works so great, because you've got the channel, you've got the ledges, you've got the shallow flats, and you've got a lot of them.
What does that look like, Stan?
What's that?
That marker? I don't know. It gets small. You can't read it, but it says "Found clothing." I marked it on my
Yeah,
Google
that was
Maps.
still spooky. That was still spooky.
Stan pulled up a bundle of clothes on his fish hook. It was
Oh, now wait a minute. When we catch a big fish, it's we. Now all of a sudden there's a suspicious bundle of clothing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Stan
yeah.
bought that.
You're on your own now.
So we pulled up a bundle of clothing. I wouldn't have thought anything about it except for it was a woman's undergarment, a woman's shirt, a pair of shorts, and a pair of green pair of plastic sunglasses, all tied up in a rope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that doesn't sound suspicious at all.
Not at all.
And and there was stainage on it. We'll just say stainage because you don't know if it was mud or what it was, but it was creepy.
So y'all did the right thing and threw it back in and drove away, right?
Oh,
No,
of course.
it's now sitting with the proper authorities.
Yeah, I know. Now we're admitting it on live, and the person that actually no, they found me out. They'll be waiting at Aunt Carol's for it.
Now you know why I said Stan pulled it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep, Stan did it all. It was all Stan's doing. Like when one of your kids messes up, you should have seen your daughter today.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I've been babysitting the past couple days here, and when they were great, I'm like, oh, look at my grandsons, they're awesome. And whenever they messed up, I was like, damn, Stan 3's kid.
All right, everybody's saying congratulations on the 100 subs, Tanner.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, so absolutely. So yeah,
And
the
the other
section
thing-
of river that. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say the other thing up here is you got the Port of Richmond, so that's usually where the barge traffic stops. We were just about to there, just downriver from where we found the clothing. There you go. It's the Port of Richmond, so that's like the. The barges have come up further, but normally you don't have to worry about barge traffic any further up from there. You just got to worry about all the jackass party. I mean the inconsiderate party boaters that are up there. But.
Yeah, so this is another kind of a scaling to give you an idea of how wide the river is right there. That is a full size with containers on it.
Yep.
And again,
But
this
not
is
very
why
big.
you want to. This is why you want to do Google Maps though, because you can see, like, you can see where the the channel is. You can see things like off to the right over there. There's for some reason there's a little deeper. Yep. So you can kind of pick these points out before you go out there, and then you can kind of investigate it. And that's one of the reasons why Stand 3 does so well up there, is because he, like, every little spot like that, every little depth change, he knows where they're all at, and pretty much by memory. And because for the longest time we fished that section of river, we were either in he was in a 10-foot, what's the Walmart kayak, that Sun Dolphin or whatever it was. That was the first kayak that he was using, or we were in a little 12-foot John boat that I barely fit in, and with a trolling motor. So that's how we fished most of that section up there. So you tend to, when you're fishing slow like that, you tend to kind of fish it a little, you fish it more thoroughly. So you tend to find out where all those channel ledges are, and different rocks and different structure, and the current picks up a little bit here and there. And, so that's one of the benefits of, I think, fishing kayak and fishing smaller boats, is that you tend to have to fish the river slower, so you fish areas more thoroughly.
Absolutely. So yeah, so the river runs right next to Interstate 95, and then here's 895, which goes at the toll road that goes around the city. But there's one of our friends. Who was it that fishes this area a lot? No Name Channel?
No Name Channel. Yep.
Yeah, he loves fishing the bridge pylons here at 895. Not that I'm giving away his spots, but
well, you know, that's the thing. There's just you know, everything is there. Like it's 895, so of course, you know, people are going to see it. The people are going to fish it and whatnot. There is no. That's why you hear me say, I joke around a lot about undisclosed location, but there really is no such thing. Like, it's such a small body of water up there that you can see exactly where. You know, there's no hiding it if you're by southeastern states right there, or Mrs. What do y'all call it, Mrs. Skin?
Yep.
On the other side, I mean, there's so many. You know, it's not like further down where it's wider and bigger section of river. Like, there's just not enough space to hide where you're at, or, you know. But I don't know why. You know, I don't know why you want to do that anyhow. But
yeah, I mean, matter of fact, Austin and I started in this channel for the river battles.
Yep.
And then we floated back under the 895 bridge. Matter of fact, I think that's where we caught that 24 was right here.
Yep. It was 24.
And that's
the biggest fish of the championship round.
That's right. That's where that barge was at us and decided to go around us instead of blowing his horn at us, telling us to move.
Yeah, that was weird. I swear he was watching the River Wars and was like, I better not mess up what they're doing. You know?
Yeah.
Dude, I have a lot of respect for the barge. I really have never had, you know, once or twice I've had a couple that were, but for the most part, man, if they can move a little bit so they don't mess with you, like they do a great job of controlling those big boats and trying to. They do a great job of sharing the river. I'll just put it that way.
That's asking a lot of them too. Not that we're asking them to do that, but like, I mean, that's some effort on their part, you know.
I think if they see that you're trying to stay to the edge of the channel and you're trying to do your part, I think they try to do theirs too. We actually had one. We were fishing down from, you know, up by the Port of Richmond, and the barge was there loading and stuff. So, you know, that's an artificial current. When the barge is running, it's creating current. But so we're fishing there, and the deckhands came over and said, "Hey, just letting you know, it's going to be about an hour. We're going to be taking off in about 45 minutes, an hour. You should be all right there, but just a heads up, just to let you know." Like, it was, you know, good communication, everything. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, if you look at the James River, I mean, just this section from where we were at up here on the Upper James, I mean, it looks fairly straight there, but then you start getting down into these corners and curves. I mean, it's I don't know that I would be able to. It would be
Yeah.
a lot of practice to be able to control one of the barges coming up this stretch of river. I mean, look at that churn right there. It's like a 90-degree churn, if not more.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, y'all have dealt with the barges a lot more than I have, but I agree with Stan. I think they do a really good job, and I only had one that I was like, holy moly, like that dude, like he came up the river like ludicrous. He was like, move, dude, get out the way. Like he didn't check up at all. I was reeling in lines real quick, because right down there, and we'll get there, but like Dutch Gap, like around that corner, like if he doesn't blow that horn, like he's up on you in no time.
Yeah.
And that's the amazing part is how quiet that big boat moving all that water and everything, how just quiet they are. It's amazing.
they can sneak up on you.
Yes, they can.
Another thing that I always like to show people when we're out on the James River, Robin will do this, and I think I've showed it many times on the lives when we're out. If anybody recognizes that symbol there, anybody like sausage? That is the estate of Jimmy Dean.
Now look, if you scroll out a little bit and go a little further north and a little east or west, a little north, and that little pond right there, I used to swim in that. See that little road there? Follow that road up. See that house right there where that field is?
Right there?
Yeah, scroll into that. That's my old house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yep. That house was built by my great-great-grandparents. They built that house, made out of clay bricks that they had right there on the farm.
Wow.
Yep.
So yeah, I like to. Matter of fact, I think this right here is where Robin caught her blue cat on the marshmallow. That's the cat stabbed me in the shin. But yeah, so when you'll hear us sometimes when we're talking about Jimmy Dean's place. This is what we're talking about. There's as you can see, I caught my first marshmallow fish there. That's right. As you can see, it gets shallow there, and then the channel's pretty wide right there. And then there's a lot of shallow flats. There's a little pond over in here. So we do. I think I caught one of my PBs at one point before I even met Stan was right here off this little structure here, about a 30-some pounder right here. But yeah, I mean, one thing about the James is you'll notice the Upper James. Well, I say the Upper James, but this is the James, the city down. It's straight for the most part until you get to about 895, and it really starts to twist and churn on you.
Oh yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's why that one section there that was man-made.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cut. They cut that about, I think, what was that, after the Civil War, I think?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody can see this pin I dropped here. I caught a 22-pounder on 13 June 2021. That was my PB
Nice.
at the time. So this is what we like to refer to as the mayor's house. Those of you that have seen it on lives, and you can hear it too, but more so at nighttime. This is all lit up. This is the power. And,
Yep.
and this is the
Dominion.
infamous Dutch Gap. Ed's
Now,
place.
That's more the area now that as summer is going on, we tend to move down that way. The issue is that boat ramp there. Ask Ed Evans about that boat ramp.
Yeah, that's his favorite boat, I think.
And it's not the ramp. The ramp is fine. It's the inhabitants at the ramp
Yeah.
is about
Yeah.
200,
If you can see
about
this right here,
220. Yep. 222 black vultures that live there, and they love to eat. They love to eat
Everything.
plastics, and
Yeah.
especially since the plastics on your cars have soy oil in it, they tend to love wiper blades and any
Water
black
seals.
rubber that's on your vehicle at all, water seals, all that type of stuff. They'll sit on your car and just eat it all.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, look, I appreciate y'all having me on here, but I got to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow because I'm going fishing.
Understood, Tanner. Understood. Congratulations
Yeah.
on 100 subs.
But hey, thanks for the
And by the way-
subscriptions. And I'll come back anytime. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome. We appreciate you coming
Sweet.
up, Tanner.
Yep. Nice seeing
Have a
you,
good
Tanner.
one.
By the way, Tanner, I'm
Yes.
two stands. Good to meet you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, good to meet you too. See y'all later.
All right.
All right,
Tanner.
take care, man.
I
I'm
meant to
probably-
ask-
That's right.
I'm-
Butterflies.
I'm probably not too far behind them.
Yeah, we're gonna. I will never park my truck there again, says Ed. Yeah,
Just another 20 minutes, and you could have gone to Osborne and never had a single issue. That's the funny part about it.
Yeah, but butterflies.
Well, the only problem with Osborne is that it's what, a $5 toll both ways. But in the scheme of things, that's a lot better than $400 worth of damage to a truck. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably cut this off here shortly. We'll do a part 2 of the James River.
and
Well, I just go up.
for anybody,
I go up around Richmond. You can go up that way, like through, like around,
yeah,
like that.
it
You
just
know, you
takes,
just go down. Yeah, it just takes longer, but
Well,
yeah,
especially since like where I live, I am like 5 minutes from where 895 goes over
right.
95. I'm right at the end of Chippenham, so it's like I could be to Osborne. Paying $8.95, paying that outrageous toll before I could
Yeah.
be to the city of Richmond, and then you still got to go down. So I guess it's one of those things like we balance out, okay, time and gas price and toll price, and
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous that the toll is that much. But
yeah, it is.
It said, I wish it was only $400 in damages.
yeah,
They tore up every single weather stripping around all 4 doors. It scratched up the paint on his hood. And you had the truck for like 2 weeks, right, Ed?
and
Now, Eric B, welcome in.
it's hit or miss because sometimes the birds aren't always there.
Yeah,
And they hadn't really been there. We'd been going there a bunch of times, right, Dustin? And that particular around that time, and nothing had happened. So we thought it was safe. And of course, we found that they really, really like orange Dodges or Rams, I should say, right?
Yeah, orange Rams. We got
But you see, when you hear us saying pits, when you hear us saying barge pits, all those like little lake type things that look off, those are what we call barge pits.
yeah. Just a real quick shout out. We have channel member Brian B. Catfishing, a Whisker Warrior in the house. How you doing, Brian? Thanks for coming in.
What's up, bro?
Woo. Whisker Warrior.
So yes, Whisker Warriors. We got two of the Whisker Warriors, 2 or 3 Whisker Warriors in the house right now. Thank you all so much. And if anybody's interested in becoming a channel member, the link is in the description along with everybody's link that was on the panel tonight, or was that I'd asked to be on the panel tonight, and then everybody that's been on this show, their link is in the description. So go check that out if you don't mind, and go check out everybody's channels. And this is what they're talking about on landing right here. That's the another launch access point for, that's the north side of the river.
And not to bring up the S word again, but almost everybody out there, if they've seen the S word battle, that is the boat launch that we landed it at. So
and this was
most people out there
yeah. In circles.
Oh yeah.
And you were talking about people that had asked to come up. Goobertime Guide Service. He wasn't able to come up tonight, but we had did a show. We had did a show with Catfish Clothing Chris on the James River, and in that, it's on Goobertime's channel, or Goobertime. Yeah, Goobertime Guide Service. Used to be Green Machine back then, but Goobertime Guide Service on the channel, and he has a link to documents that he put together in the description in that, and it shows all the boat ramps, all kinds of great information in there. He spent a lot of time putting that together, but that link is in the description on his on that video on his channel.
He gave us authorization to use that information, and we may get to that section of the river in tonight's show, but it doesn't look like we're going to make it all the way to that section of the river.
Right.
So hopefully, and you guys talked about the entire lower part of the James too, because I remember watching that show. I thought that was very interesting. Excuse me, Frank Lampron. Good evening. So hopefully next time we do, when we can do a follow up to the show, part 2, maybe Dan will be able to come on, and we can get his take on his favorite part of the river and where he loves to fish at.
One of the things, like I keep bringing up, how I was saying about channels with flats, and you can look all along. We can see like the tan, you can see the shallower. You know, that's just great. That's, I think, one of the reasons that the upper, when we say upper James, like when we're talking, when we say are you up river, we're talking about like up to the city. Like if we are fishing Aub River, like the upper James, like that'll be a whole nother. So a lot of times you'll hear us say, yeah, you up river? We're like, yeah, that means like up towards the city.
Yeah.
Which is actually the lower James, but it's the upper part of the lower James. So
yeah.
Well, it's funny because I actually did some on the James before we came on here tonight. And there's actually what's called the James River watershed.
Yep.
The James River watershed covers approximately 10,000 square miles. And when you talk about that, it consists of 3 sections. The upper James, in talking about the watershed, begins at Allegheny County in the Blue Ridge Mountains and Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yep.
So if you're looking at the James River as a whole, that would be considered the upper James from the James River water. Then if you're talking about the middle James, that's when you're talking about Lynchburg, Virginia, down to the fall line where we showed you guys earlier in the city.
Yep.
And then, of course, the lower James is going to be the fall line all the way out to the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was just about to say that. Like if you were looking at it from like a scientific standpoint, or you know what they actually consider, like everything that we covered in the beginning of this live, like technically is the middle James, but nobody says that. That's
Right.
That's the upper James River. That anybody that fishes it, that's the upper James. You know. But yep, you're exactly right, Dustin.
So maybe this will give when they're watching our lives a little bit of context when we say are you fishing the upper James? And sometimes we'll even call the upper lower James, are you fishing the city?
Yep.
So to us, that's the upper part of the lower James, what we consider the lower James. Or if you say, are you on the upper part of the river, that means are you up above?
Why does it sound like we just went into like we got our own Abbott and Costello routine now? Like
Yeah, exactly. That's all I
who's on
could think
first?
of was, are you on the upper lower? Are you on the middle upper or the upper lower?
That's
Yes.
funny. So
You know.
Wanda said the same thing. So we have the upper James, the middle upper James, the lower
Yep.
upper James, the lower upper James, the middle lower James, the lower James. Correct?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and you'll hear me talk about the and of course the James River, part of the Chesapeake Bay watershed system, where that's a whole nother. You got the James River, the Potomac River, the Susquehanna.
Yep.
Well, and to that, I'll get to some not as in depth as the which rivers cover that too, but I did do some research on the Chesapeake Bay watershed. Not a lot, just a general overview of the states. But we do have a question. Melinda Farrell is in here saying, just a quick question, since I'm watching the catfish community, is anyone in it fish around northern Indiana? Do we know of anybody that fishes northern Indiana?
I don't know if it's northern or not. I'm pretty sure. Isn't Hooks, Indiana? Hooks and Hammocks.
Yeah, I think Kristen Teller from Indiana.
Where is Mike Greenwell?
Yeah, that's a good point.
He
think
fishes near the
Greenwell.
Green River.
And I also believe Sharina and them are Indiana.
I believe so too. Sharina Thomas.
Sharina Thomas.
Is JBT up that way too?
No, JBT is
JBT is West Texas.
Oh, way off.
I thought New Mexico, but yeah, he's down that way.
Yeah.
I got you.
Well, Indiana Chris, but not that he posts fishing videos really, but
Right.
he's somewhere in there.
And Ron and Melinda, there are several channels that do fish in Indiana. Not sure east, west, north, or south though. Yeah. So thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
Rob. Yeah, that was my bad. I need to stop talking. I don't know.
There is basically somebody from almost everywhere in the catfish community across the country.
Yep.
Everywhere from California to Colorado to Iowa, Indiana, Ohio,
Seattle.
Yep, Seattle, Nebraska. There's pretty much somebody from just about everywhere.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's a very diverse community. Bunch of wonderful people.
Yeah, they're all right.
So David Smith wanted me to we need to go off of where the mayor's house is so that we all know. So there's the mayor's house. So if you see her say we're by the mayor's house, that's where we're at.
AKA the fish factory.
Yeah, it pretty much is. That's pretty much is.
If I could say something about this area, one of the things I always told about fishing a river system is you try to go to the outside bend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this general area, there's two outside bends. I mean, because you got this one right here and then this one right here. That's when the river's going, when the tide's coming in. So either way, but anyway, yeah, you got this outside bend, and I know there was an S word caught in that outside bend. And then I know we've caught a number of 20s and 30s. I think Stand 3 caught a 60 in this area.
Maybe even bigger.
205 Wild Action. What you doing? How you doing, man? Thanks for coming in.
That's also a really good place for numbers. Like if you ever wanted to go out and just catch fish, didn't really care whether they were big or whatever,
Well,
in my short experience in that little stretch, that is a great place to catch numbers of fish.
my
Believe it
wife
or
and
not,
I
right?
won. I was just going to say, my wife and I won last year's couples challenge from, if Dustin can scroll down just a little bit more, from right below that green dot on the other side. Yep, that stretch. Not even that far, just the top stretch. We caught
Oh,
20 something. No, up here, up just a little more. The small section of that, right there, across the river.
Right.
Yep. We caught 20 something fish right through that. And by we, I mean, she caught 19 and I caught 2 right there.
Well, that's like if anybody watched the second battleship tournament where the 3 of us were in there, and the best part about that was me saying fish on and me hearing very faintly in the background two stands saying fish on, fishing fever, fish on, fishing fever. I watched that replay so many times, but that but that stretch of river is where that was, where it was just number, and I just
don't know if
happened
I
to be
ever
in the
got
right
to give you
spot.
credit for that or not, but you did amazing call on that one there. Everything, the way that everything was going upriver was the way, we all went out of Osborne because that stupid in a foot of a park June whatever celebration they were having.
The Jubilee.
The June Jubilee, that's right. So we had to go, instead of going where we wanted to go, where we had been pre-fishing and knew exactly where schools and schools and schools
Yeah.
of number fish were at, we had to go to a whole different section of the river. And we got to the boat ramp. You always go with the conditions that are there. And Austin's like thinking down. I'm like, no, upriver, we're going to go up a little bit. And that's going to be, well, I was wrong. And that happens. Austin called it perfect.
David Smith said,
Although I lasted longer in the battleship than Austin did. I started catching some fish towards the end, but
yeah, I got found pretty quick, but
you got to rub that in, don't you? Where's Freddie at?
yeah,
that's true.
He was the first one to get well. Freddie sunk my battleship right here.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
That's where you can see the rest of my battleship right there.
Yep.
But well, it's 10:51, and this is pretty much the 295 bridge, which takes you around the city of Richmond from 95. They say every time. They say, but we'll pick up from Dutch Gap, Henry's Park, when we do part 2 of the James River, because James River is such a big river, and it's hard. Just kind of the Mississippi. It's hard to cover. We're not as big as the Mississippi, but it's hard to cover that large amount of water in just 2 hours.
And it's such a diverse river. It's not just because it's a long river. It's just so different on certain stretches. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Doug Talley, what's going on?
Hey, Doug.
Before we pop out of here, I do want to say, I was telling Austin while you were talking to somebody, Stan, I did do a little bit of research on the Chesapeake watershed. You were talking about the rivers. I don't know which rivers that are comprised of the watershed, but the watershed does 64,000 square miles and it covers 6 states.
Yep.
It covers the state of New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia, and then also DC.
Wow.
Yep. Potomac and the James are the big 2 there.
Yep. There've been way too many rivers to try to
but we're familiar with a lot of them. You got the Susquehanna comes, I believe, into there.
Yep.
The Chickahominy, I think.
the Chickahominy, the York, the Rappahannock, the Mattaponi, the Pamunkey. There's all kinds of
rivers there. Yep.
Tony Harrison said, "I'm late. Did you do Ancaros?" Tony, that was about an hour ago. But if you go back and watch the video, you'll learn all about Ancaros.
That's right.
Yep.
How you doing, Tony? Thanks for coming in.
What's up, Tony?
We can't wait. One of these days, we're going to fish with Tony there. Stand 3 wants to bring him out in the boat right there.
That'd be awesome. But we started at 9. It is now 10:53. So, and we've had everybody stay in and hang in. I really, really, really sincerely hope that everybody learned a thing about the James River. We really enjoy. I think I speak for all of us when I say we all really enjoy fishing this river. There's so many different places. There's so many different types of fishing that you can do. There's so many different ways to fish for what we fish for. You know, we fish for blue cats and make some monster blues in these waters. And you know, we enjoy the hunt. And next time we'll cover a bit more of the natural and man-made sections of the James River, talking about the transportation tunnels and all that other stuff. So,
yep.
Robert said, "Oh man, time flies when you're having fun. Great show as usual. Thanks for having me."
Does anybody have any other questions about like was there any questions about like bait or anything like that?
I know we did a really good job of explaining that when you're, you know, like on Friday nights or whatever, when you hear Dustin say, "Hey Stan, are you upriver?" and Stan says, "Yeah," then this is why you still have absolutely no idea where Stan is. Like,
That's right.
like that is it didn't tell you nothing.
I'm undisclosed location.
Yeah, exactly. And then Dustin says, "Oh, okay," and then Dustin still doesn't even know. like.
Ty wants to know if we have moon eye.
No, not that I know of. Not that I know of.
I don't think so.
Our big,
I don't even know what moon eye look like. So
our big shad is the gizzard shad, and we have a bunch of threadfin shad. Then of course we have the American and hickory shads that make the migration in the spring with the heron, the blueback heron, and alewives.
Yep.
But they're only the spring and then back out.
Rhonda said, "Well, I mean, I can make a few hundred up. I'll keep the show going." Questions? No, but it really means the world to us that y'all, that we have made friends like Stan and Austin and Tanner and everybody else that we've got to fish with and gotten to fish with yet. But I say it every live. I think this is why we do it. You know, it's a big family, a lot in common. And if we could focus on the things we have in common, not the things that our differences, I think we'll be a lot better off. JG, what's going on?
I agree.
So on saying that, thank you all so much for coming in. Like I said, I hope you learned a little bit about upper, lower, middle, upper, lower James. And please, you know, we'll have a part 2. Sure, if it's going to be next week. It all depends on if I get my boat fixed.
Imagine that. A part 2 of the James River.
I'm not sure. I still got to get my boat fixed, but we have other options. But Butterfly says thanks for the part 1 James River 2. Looking forward to part 2. Great show, as always, a pleasure. Thank you so much. On that note, we're gonna pop out of here. Thank you all so much for coming in. And we'll talk to you all. Oh, real quick, don't forget Friday night chat tomorrow night, Stan's channel. And then Pontoon Jodi's Flathead Challenge right after. We'll feed you right into that after Stan's show. So thank you all very much. Y'all want to say anything else?
Yeah, don't forget all three of these people have memberships, and we would all greatly appreciate it now. But just thank you for everybody coming and listening. It was a fun time.
Of course, now both of y'all have cooler names than mine. I got to, back in the day, I was like, I thought I was doing pretty good with calling everybody family members. Oh, Two Stands Fishin' family members. It's a Two Stand fam. And then, that kind of, everybody kind of does that. So now I got to come up with something cool.
We'll talk off screen. Maybe we can help you come up with something.
Kind of hard to
think
Warriors and Fever Believers. That's that's you got them. Those are cool names.
I will say that if I'm not mistaken,
What's up, Tim?
a friend of ours named came up with Snaggin Night Live. Right? Didn't you come up with SNL?
I did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yep. And I came up with Whisker Warrior.
And he came up with the name Whisker Warrior. So we owe a lot to Austin.
I have a very specific skill set. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh yeah, JG was saying Two Stands deckhands.
Ooh,
Yep.
Yeah, as long as they
oh boy, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh man.
Tim Molina
What's
says,
up,
Ronnie
Tim?
says, "Do it."
Always great to see Tim Molina out there.
So Rhonda says, Tim,
You could
ask
all-
for a recap. And then Tim says, Rhonda says, do it.
And actually, here's a little trivia for Stand Day. Tim Molina was one of the first guest anglers we had on out there fishing with us on a Stand Day. Of course, I got my butt whipped by him. We did a challenge a couple years ago now. He was with Chris Flores and I was with Stand 3 and fishing from the bank. And we started out on fire. We were doing pretty good, but then Tim just Tim put it to me towards the end. So
All right.
there you go. I'll have to talk to LG too. Yeah.
Oh, look at you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mayor's Chief of Special Counsel. And
Oh, that's right. I can give everybody a special, make them all part of the cabinet.
There you go. But assistant or lieutenant mayor assistant taken.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I think everybody should join Two Stands family members and become. They could all be little S words. Yeah.
That's right. Tim Molina said, I buried Stan and retired champion.
All right, it's 11 o'clock. Thank you all very much once again. And don't forget, like I said, Stan's show tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Flows into Jodi's Flathead Challenge starting at 9 p.m. And we hope to see you. Brian B's Finesse Challenge on Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, Brian B's channel.
Oh, I got to find out from him if there's any other openings.
Tony Harrison said, boom, boom, bam, 2:22, 2 hours and 22 more minutes. Oops, wrong channel.
Oh, thank you, Tony. Thank you. And then there was probably been, I'd say probably that is the most common donation in a lot of channels is the 222. So thank you. I appreciate whenever y'all do that on other people's channels. That does mean a lot to me. So I appreciate that.
Well, Brian's back, still in the chat. He said it's 9 Eastern time. My mistake. I thought it was 8 o'clock Saturday morning.
9 to 2, I think.
Awesome. right, guys. Thank you all very much. All right, everybody. Thank you all very much. Thank you all for coming up on panel. We really appreciate it. And we will see you all later.
Take care.